from a media perspective, our biggest power, so to speak, is really our ability to influence, inform, and move the communities. And in our respective countries, we saw the gaps, and we realized just communicating within our own countries are just not enough. Why we started with Indonesia and Philippines? Because we are very strong trade partners. And we all know ESG is a prerequisite of trade. We need to get our ESG right before we can talk about economic growth. And at the same time, we realize in the communities that we have, people struggle to even get basic information. People struggle to understand jargons. So this morning, collaboratively across the 3 media powerhouses, we had our first editorial meeting discussing about content that we can run deliberately across the different countries to educate. For example, topics on poverty, topics on environment, and engaging in research on how we can improve the livelihood of the rakyats in our respective country.
Any more questions? Otherwise, I've got plenty. Yep. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Terence from the Star. This question is for Ola, for all. And what are some of the major goals of the consortium in the next 12 months? Thank you.
What was the, sorry, what was that again?
What are some of the major goals of the consortium in the next 12 months?
What are the major goals? Or perhaps like, what is the main or biggest gap that the consortium plans to bridge first?
I think it's quite obvious that our motive is to help, all those practitioners involved or those society involved to have a better understanding of these ESG practices and principles. And also at the same time, we strongly believe in our own self that, if this ESG principle can be practiced as a norm, as a standard, that will definitely help the economy and the society to be in a more healthy and equitable manner. And the main purpose, of course, we are using our media power, to help not only the society, but also at the same time the government to disseminate policies, and also at the same time let people have a chance, to have a platform to learn and have the resources, to engage, something like that, right?
Yeah, I think as a media company, we reach the public, and then we reach other stakeholders as well, like businesses and government. So the goals are in each of those stakeholders. For the public, I think we as a media company, we have all measurements, how well our content reach the population, how many audience are reached by our sustainability content, for example. And to businesses is how well best practices are shared in our community. And for government, I think probably one of the most important stakeholders is how our journalism, our content have impact on their policy, on the change maker, on the decision makers' policy.
As media companies, on a daily basis, we carry out our task of informing the public. So with this consortium, we're taking it one step further. So we're focusing on a topic that's important to the Philippines and the rest of Asia, and educating them about the importance, how critical ESG principles are. The overall objective is to really use our collective reach to talk to a broader audience, and over time drive action that will create solutions that will allow us to achieve sustainable practices.
Ada lagi tak? Okay, I've got a few questions. Now, I think the MOU was signed or launched somewhere in March, if I'm not mistaken, right? The consortium plans to establish a like-minded fraternity that will serve as a voice for authority. So who are you aiming to helm and be drivers of this fraternity? I can't remember where I read it. I think it was one of the news.
Lydia will take the question. Yeah.
Sudah ada ke?
Yeah, so for the fraternity, what we are aiming is to pull together companies or entities that have walked the talk. That means people who have done it and judged as good. That's why when we started the award, it was not for the sake of a trophy, but it was for the sake of pulling out best practices, and not just any best practices. It's judged and gauged as best, right? So best in water management, best in energy, and so forth. And then we use this case to help expedite or shorten the learning curve for people in the same space. So when we talk about fraternity of like-minded ESG practitioners, that's what we mean. We bring together the best in class, and we help the community come up to speed. I think one of the biggest problems are not the PLCs, but really the non-PLCs, the SMEs, the people who don't have the resource or the know-how or the finances to actually embark on this ESG. How can we help them gain that knowledge without the expensive consultancies and so forth?
And of course, we're inviting other media powerhouses like yourselves to be on board. Of course, now we've got Malaysia, Philippines, as well as Indonesia. Have we invited other countries to just, hey, come? Or has anyone, my daughter says FOMO, fear of missing out, all right? Has anyone, since the MOU, and of course, this probably has gone digital already, has anyone said hey, we're interested, we're from Vietnam, we're from Thailand? Anyone else coming in to join this initiative that you guys have already said yes to? Belum lagi ya? Or cannot be officially mentioned, is it?
Yes, indeed. Before we even did the first announcement, we actually talked to quite a few countries, and you realize the countries on board here all speak English very well. Okay, we have a few more in the pipeline, so we're very excited. Watch this space. Our vision is that we will be able to drive the ESG agenda with a larger community of media powerhouses across Asia, right? And this is the very, very first in Asia to launch a consortium of media powerhouses, not just any regular companies, but media powerhouses who have the ability to reach, influence, and move things.
Now, one of the challenges to ESG implementation is, of course, the regulatory barrier from various international regulations, as well as, of course, the reporting standards that businesses are expected to adhere to and to prioritize, as this will impact them. If you had a wish list, okay, it's just like think Christmas is coming, all right? If you had a wish list, what country or who would you want to be desperately on board to make things move? Because we can talk and yap and do all these launches and stuff, but at the end of the day, there's bound to be one or two that's going to be key in making, let's do this. I don't care if it's not going to make me popular or if this has to be done. Who would that be besides, of course, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia? Who would that person or country or organization be? If you had a wish list, we could just have a wish list, law of attraction, asking for it. I put them in a bit of a...
Our wish list is about to come true.
Oh, wow. Wow. See, law of attraction comes early. So it's, okay, so that's going to be another announcement, I assume?
It's in the works.
It's in the works. Okay, see? Okay, I'm just scrolling out. Any more questions? Because I've got lots and lots of questions. Okay, back to you, Star.
One more question again for everyone on this one. So in every environmental projects, there's always criticisms that it's a form of greenwashing or so how does this consortium ensure that this is not just another greenwashing attempt, and how can we avoid criticisms of greenwashing in our efforts? Thank you.
Or is there any sense of metric measurements on how do you know that this collaboration is working? Like, how do we indicate that it's happening? It's not just what you were saying, you know? What would be the key indicators?
Yes, I think impact is the main metrics, because I think it can be understood that every company will have certain ESG initiative that they've been doing. For example, in Indonesia, every public company is by regulation, they have to have a sustainability report. That means they have to perform some sort of sustainability initiatives. But again, at the end of the day, it's what matters is impact, how the initiative impact the society. So that's why it's Asia ESG, Positive Impact Consortium. So the measurable KPI for success of our consortium should be how does ESG initiatives across the Asia Pacific actually have positive impacts on the region. Again, if we're talking about goals, 2015, the United Nations, all countries of United Nations already adopted the SDGs goals, 17 goals, and we are only 15% on track so far to achieve what's supposed to be achieved by 2030. So only 6 years left, but only 15% of the goals are on track. In fact, there is a report that it will actually take another 32 years to achieve what was going to be achieved, what was targeted to be achieved back in 2015. So I think impact should be one of the main KPIs of how we see our consortium contributing to the Asia Pacific ESG or SDG progress.
In addition to the metrics, probably there are also built-in safeguards in the way we will hold the AEPIC awards. First, we have a list of categories now. So the categories are very specific. Second, Lydia mentioned that what we aim for are to recognize efforts that are the best in class. So I think that's another form of safeguard. And then third probably is that there are basically two types of screenings. A screening done in each of the countries, member countries, and another one at the regional awards. So that would, again, I think, provide a safeguard against fears of greenwashing.
Perhaps I can also add, besides the award where we will have professionals on board with us to look at and filter the criteria and so forth, at the journalistic level, just this very morning, we were talking about how can we ensure that we don't inadvertently promote greenwashing, right? Because it's very dangerous. We have so many journalists running around doing these stories. So one of the way was there's a training that's go on to train journalists on how to spot greenwashing stories. How do we do the research and make sure that we have integrity in our stories? And the second conversation, and we were going to leverage on KG Media's expertise, is research. And we talk about cross-country research to find out the metrics of where other companies and also the consumers. So it's very interesting, right? Firstly, what is the acceptance of a consumer towards, or how important they think ESG is? And then at the corporate level, they may figure that they have done a lot, but maybe not. So henceforth the research.
Just looking at you, right? We're good. Meja yang sebelah sana, ada tak soalan? Do you have any questions from there? At the back? No? All right, we're good. Is there any final words that you would like to just punch in? I mean, we've got not just our own media here, but also media from outside, that you want to just encourage for our own journalists here in Malaysia to make sure that they, create the awareness that we should be doing since yesterday and beyond. We'll start off probably with the lady, Lydia. I heard just now we were talking to the gentleman about how there's not enough diversity. Yeah. Yes. Perhaps that's something that you and I can discuss too.
Actually, we also have the same problem within my group. They are all female. So like what I say, it's not just one way. I think if you look at my team, they're all female. I mean, male, we are lacking in manpower. So I'm not a good one to preach, but certainly I think we would like to give equal opportunity to talents across board, and also different ethnicity for sure.
We're just happy to have the formal launch today, and we're also excited to work out the next 12 months.
Well, I think with today's formal launching and with the crew of attendees that with us today, you can see the idea is quite well received in the marketplace. And I'm pleasantly surprised with so many technically representation attended this particular forum. And I think that is a silent endorsement and a testament for this good cause of program. And I hope that with today's formal launching, we will definitely intensify, the acceptance and also adopt the principle and practices of ESG to reach a wider community. And just like what Andy have just now said, the achievement so far only below 20%. There are a long way for us to catch up. So I always think that it is something that is not for somebody to wait, but rather for all of us to catch up. That is my view.
Better late than never, sir. Finally.
Yeah, I think with the launch today, we would like to open the doors, especially for other media houses across Asia to join AEPIC. We have a lot of work to do on sustainability, and we would like to enable AEPIC to achieve this journey for a greater impact together across Asia.
Now, all of you are powerhouses, but are you going to be selective about those who come and join your consortium? Or it can just be any media who's just interested in contributing to ESG?
Yeah, I think what Lydia said, we would like, prioritize the most influential,
Nice.
the most biggest national brands of media to join. But again, we will see how that works. Because I think representation of all countries across Asia is important. So yes, the wish list is there, but the wish list is actually not only the media but the countries to all join together.
Yang Amat Berhormat stayed on for makan, right, just now? So you all had like a little little tea time with Yang Amat Berhormat just now. Did he add on anything that was not said already on stage that he would like to share with us? Did he say something? Because he comes up with something out of his hat. Suddenly he'll just come up with something, and maybe we were not privy to that because we weren't in that little VIP area. But did he say anything that he will come and do more to help the consortium? Okay, their lips are sealed, I guess, until it's official. That's how news works.
Well, I think a little bit unfortunate I was not at the same table with him, but I hear from the background, obviously he was quite happy in a very jovial mood after the launch. And from that, what we call background feel, obviously this launching have hit one of the target of our 17 goals, is create happiness.
That's true. Happiness is key, ladies and gentlemen. With that, thank you so much once again to all our panelists in front of us. Thank you. It's been a long day. And there's still lots more to do, so please get some rest. And to members of the media, thank you for staying all the way till the end. My name is Daphne Eiking on behalf of Alvin and myself. It's been a pleasure being your MC for today. And I guess with that, drive safe. I hope one day we can get our EV cars cheaper here in Malaysia. I'm just saying. With that, take care everyone, and I'll see you in our next event. Bye-bye.
Tujuh belas agenda, satu misi. 7 tahun tersisa untuk mengubah dunia. Apa pencapaian kita untuk umat manusia? Bagaimana cara kita menjaga harmoni dan kemakmuran dunia? Inilah komitmen kita untuk mendukung para pemimpin dan pejuang perubahan. Karena kita percaya pada dampak kolektif yang dapat diciptakan oleh setiap insan di dunia. Teruslah berjuang dengan keyakinan. Inilah saatnya suara kita didengar, lantang dan tegas. Sehingga kita dapat meninggalkan warisan dan harapan bagi generasi yang akan datang. Gaungkan aksimu bersama lestari. "17 agenda, 1 misi. 7 tahun tersisa untuk mengubah dunia." Apa pencapaian kita untuk umat manusia? Bagaimana cara kita menjaga harmoni dan kemakmuran dunia? Inilah komitmen kita untuk mendukung para pemimpin dan pejuang perubahan. Karena kita percaya pada dampak kolektif yang dapat diciptakan oleh setiap insan di dunia. Teruslah berjuang dengan keyakinan. Inilah saatnya suara kita didengar, lantang dan tegas. Sehingga kita dapat meninggalkan warisan dan harapan bagi generasi yang akan datang. Gaungkan aksimu bersama lestari. "17 agenda, 1 misi. 7 tahun tersisa untuk mengubah dunia." Apa pencapaian kita untuk umat manusia? Bagaimana cara kita menjaga harmoni dan kemakmuran dunia? Inilah komitmen kita untuk mendukung para pemimpin dan pejuang perubahan. Karena kita percaya pada dampak kolektif yang dapat diciptakan oleh setiap insan di dunia. Teruslah berjuang dengan keyakinan. Inilah saatnya suara kita didengar, lantang dan tegas. Sehingga kita dapat meninggalkan warisan dan harapan bagi generasi yang akan datang. Gaungkan aksimu bersama lestari.